Today's video was brought to you by my patrons. Go to patreon.com/explanationpoint to find out how you can support the channel while getting cool perks for yourself. Now onto this. What do you get when you cross a screen-printed body pillow and the budding potential of a new artistic medium? If you said the fresh hell of virtual reality anime, then you are unfortunately correct. A while back, I went to a friend's place where I got to try out an Oculus Rift, and the first thing I thought was, lights and colors the likes of which I've never seen. And my second thought was, I've got to get me one of these things. So I waited for months until we moved into an apartment with enough space for me to get one. Then for more months after the move and subsequent hard drive crashes ate up so much of my savings that I would have been VRing in a box on the street if I got one. Until I finally got one, only to be met with this. Which I think is the closest to hell I've been since leaving Fresno. And unfortunately, this kind of thing seems to be the norm for VR anime. Putting the viewer in a closed-off virtual room from which there can be no escape, presenting them with a nightmarish facsimile of their favorite anime girl and/or cat, and letting nature take its course. But despite the abundance of inappropriately touching your underage animal girl waifu simulator 2019 and similar titles, I honestly think that the VR space has a lot of potential for telling unique and compelling stories that could not be told as effectively in other media. The prime example right now in the anime sphere is Spicy Wolf VR. Spicy Wolf is one of the more ambitious anime projects that there is. It's a serious interpersonal drama about this 40-year-old, 20-year-old and his naked wolf girl companion uncovering and participating in a conspiracy to artificially inflate the price of money. It features sprawling and believable medieval European environments, complex interactions among a wide and diverse cast of characters, and a wolf girl so naked that God, she's naked, man, that is a naked wolf girl. Spicy Wolf VR has an anime girl dancing in a box. SWVR, how is that even harder to say? Spicy Wolf VR features 3 10-ish minute conversations between Craft Singles and HoloLens the Wise Wolf, the main characters of Spicy Wolf, along with an interact mode where you can pat Holo's head, tail, and boobies to your heart's content. For the $30 price tag, I'll admit that I was expecting a bit more out of this, but despite its shortcomings, I think there's plenty to like about this little piece, and plenty more about it that suggests that VR anime is a viable and exciting medium for future artists to explore. Ah, but alas, this is YouTube, and nobody cares about that. Tell me how it sucks. There's only one goddamn environment. The story features 3 conversations between Lawrence and Holo as they wait out the rain one night in an abandoned watermill. And man, I hope you like watermills, because that is the only place you're going to see for this entire VR experience, even in the interact mode. You do get a tantalizing glimpse at the shining, verdant nuclear waste dump beyond the door for just a second if you look real hard, but mostly it's just rotting wood and things made out of rotting wood. Now, to Sword Art Wolf Online's credit, it does take full advantage of that environment, with Holo running back and forth between different parts of the room and pole dancing on the grinder, but part of the appeal of VR storytelling is the visual element. The ability to shift the viewer between environments in ways that aren't possible with a traditional screen. Look at the Emmy-nominated Traveling While Black for an example of this done right. Traveling While Black is a documentary about black cross-country tourists in the 50s and 60s. From the streets of DC to the back of a long-distance bus, the way Traveling While Black transitions between environments to engage the viewer is downright magical. It uses a place called Ben's Chili Bowl in DC as a hub for telling its story, and it seats the viewer at actual tables in that actual restaurant with actual black people as they actually recount the unique struggles that they faced back in the mid-20th century and continue to face today. Being able to sit in that restaurant, physically seeing the owner tell you her story, is what gives VR so much potential to engage people on a deeply personal level. Holo's watermill is pretty and atmospheric, and the whole story has a cool black box theater feel to it that I won't say I don't enjoy, but Spicy Wolf is known for its detailed and complex environments, so in this context it just feels like a waste. Turning the watermill into a bakery for one scene is a nice and admittedly adorable shift, but I want to walk by the canal in Pazio or explore the fortress of Reuvenhagen. And that's the kind of thing that I can see VR doing amazingly well in the future. Imagine a Made in Abyss VR experience where the viewer sees through the eyes of an injured white whistle on an expedition to the bottom of the world, unable to do anything but watch as each terrifying level of the monster-infested super dungeon picks off your able-bodied companions one by one. Or going on that Antarctic expedition with the girls of Yurimoi. Or even just how beautiful it would be if Aizuken were real life. This is what VR anime is capable of, but for real though. Not just having the Nekopara girl cats throw some glitter at you one time and calling it VR, but engaging the viewer with incredible realized 3D environments that let them fully experience the worlds of their favorite shows from the comfort of their own otaku caves. And then there's the fact that the Spicy Wolf thing has you take on the role of Lawrence, which I don't have anything against in principle, but the execution here was clunky enough that I'm beginning to think it's just not the best way of doing things. The experience starts with Lawrence and Holo entering the mill where you're already seated on a bench, and then having Lawrence sit on the same bench as you in the same spot that you are currently occupying, like, hey dude, I'm sitting here. I thought it was a glitch. But no, the story intends for you and Lawrence to become one flesh, overlapping in space and time to engage with the world as a singular being beyond what either of you individually could be. And that's fine, I guess, but it really creates a degree of separation between the player and the main character, which is a weird thing to do when you're literally looking through their eyes and other characters in the story are addressing you directly. I can't help but compare it to other experiences like Accounting Plus and Wolves in the Walls, where your character is just you. Nobody wants Sword Art Online to be real because we want to interact with people as Kirito. We want Sword Art Online to be real because Aincrad is rad as Ainc, and we want to have our own experiences there. The power of VR is letting the user personally experience what the experience is having them experience, making them feel like the events around them are happening to them. Otherwise, it comes off as a weird imitation of that one episode of Arthur where the viewer becomes an aardvark. I feel like the whole thing would have been leagues better if instead of Lawrence sitting on and in my lap, he walked into the mill and acknowledged that I was already there. I could be another traveler escaping the rain, or even the mill owner lamenting the rundown state of my once great flour making operation now that the river's dried up. Anything, as long as it engages the viewer directly as an individual person. Any anime can be about Craft Lawrence. Only a VR anime can be about me. Then there's the interact mode, which I frankly just don't want to talk about too much. If for no other reason than that it's basically bordering on video game territory, and that's not what this video's about. But it's there, so I'll mention it. I understand the appeal, or I understand what the appeal is supposed to be. And I'm really not here to kink shame anybody, but the kinks that would theoretically be being shamed are not particularly well expressed in this experience. I could and probably will do an entire video about why I hate Holo, but as far as just physical cuteness goes, she is in the top tier of cute anime girls, and I totally get wanting to spend $30 to have a virtual wise wolf hanging around your Facebook helmet. But the execution is more than a little lacking. Patting Holo's head gets tiresome pretty quickly when you realize that she only has 3 reactions to it, and making her interact with different parts of the watermill isn't exactly engaging when you've already seen her interact with all of these things in the story proper. But mostly, I feel like this is a tacked-on bonus that uses neat appeal to sell. It's not relevant to the parts of VR anime that I want to discuss here, and I only mention it because I know folks in the comments are gonna rail at me if I don't. But that's not to say I'm against these kinds of modes in principle. I think it's actually a neat extra. I just would have preferred if I was at least able to teleport around the watermill and explore the environment in detail. Instead, I was just sitting on the same bench while Holo smacked me in the face with her tail again because my system glitched out and thought my hand was on her boob when really it was reaching to take off the Oculus because, okay, I think I'm done with this. From the way I talked about it all through this video, it probably seems like I really hated the Spice and Wolf VR thing, and that's a little unfair. It wasn't worth $30 for sure, but at a lower price point, it would have been a charming little production that felt like a nice black box theater show. I just think it misses a lot of what makes VR storytelling special, which is why I'm hoping it's just the beginning of a long line of VR anime productions. We are at the cutting edge of a brand new form of storytelling, and once we start codifying the writing and directing techniques of VR, I can't even imagine what kind of experiences we'll be able to come up with. You know how everyone laughs at that story about the stupid people at the dawn of cinema thinking that the train was gonna hit them when they watched The Great Train Robbery? That happened to me while I was playing heckin' Job Simulator. VR provides storytellers with the opportunity to engage their audiences in ways that writers, filmmakers, and game designers could only dream about. And I can only hope that anime continues to experiment in the VR space until we can personally step into a story as beautiful as a Ghibli movie and engaging as Brotherhood. I would love to say that VR is giving us a whole new world of storytelling, but that's not quite right. It's giving us several. This is the part in the video where I realized that I forgot to write an outro, so hello everybody, I hope you all enjoyed the video and welcome to the outro. If this is the kind of work that you like to see me do, then you can head to patreon.com/exclamation point where you can join all the people whose names you see here in supporting me and this channel. I especially appreciate this person, Lars, today's lucky patron, who has been a $10 patron for the last 13 months and also an active participant in our weekly game nights who is German and great. Thank you for your support. If you want a chance at becoming the lucky patron one video, head to patreon.com/exclamation point and support the channel at any tier of your choosing. You can also join our Discord server, our weekly Patreon game nights, get consultations with me about your own creative projects, and see your picture in my videos. Follow me on Twitter, do the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and until next time, this has been Explanation Point, signing out.